Happy February, everyone. It's time for another Curve collab. This month, we're going to be doing the Sweetest palette, Love Hangover. And what this is all about, I'm going to read straight from what Julia sent me because she is the creator of this quarter's themes. It says, this is a palette you should but do not want to put down or get over, or you're grieving the loss of it after you decluttered it. Use the palette or a similar one for your makeup look, and you can show pictures of it. Luckily, I did not declutter mine. My palette is Girl Meets Makeup, and I believe this is palette called Bear. They all had names to them because they all had a different color story. Let me show you the shades in this palette. These are the shades in the Bear palette. They're all very neutral. I'm going to put up some pictures of the other palettes that were in the series. Unfortunately, this company is no longer in business. So that's why I'm so very glad that I did not declutter this palette. To see some of the other Girl Meets Makeup palettes in action, they are still on Instagram. I went on Google to try to look for the palettes because when I put them up to show them, I wanted to tell you the names of them. But it really doesn't make a difference because you can't purchase them, but they're so pretty. And I'm very, very sad for the company that they weren't able to make it with this series of palettes. I'm gonna show you what the other girls look like, and then you have to watch their videos so you can see what palettes they have a love hangover about. Let's check them out. As I create my look, I'm going to discuss a few things about this palette. Number one, what attracted me to this palette is the name. There's something about the palettes that I purchased and the name of them that kind of grabs me. But Girl Meets Makeup, if you think about it and you think about what led you to wearing makeup from the very beginning and how you just absolutely fell in love with makeup, and then you might have started out slowly just using a few products like I did. The only thing that I used in the beginning was a blue eyeliner on the waterline and a pink lipstick. Then I started mascara in high school. The pink lippy and the blue eyeliner was in junior high. So by the time I got to high school, I added mascara, and then I tried individual lashes during my senior year, and I actually applied them myself for my graduation photos. It's just the idea of a girl or a woman falling in love with the idea of using makeup. That's what drew me to this palette. The name. When I first came in contact with this brand, I believe that it was through Instagram. And then I went to the company's website to check them out. I did not know which palette to select because the color stories, they varied from one palette to the next. Some were very neutral, like this one, And then some had colors that were just like really way out. I chose the safest bet for myself. These palettes unfortunately do not have any names to the shades. So as I work, I'll just put up on the screen the color that I'm using out of the palette. This light color here on the top row in this 12 pan palette mixed with mattes and shimmers is the very lightest shade in the palette that I'm using now for my transition. This is a small grouping of just some of the Gurl Meets makeup palettes. This is the Leaves palette. This is the Rosy palette. This is the Exposed palette. And here again is the Bear palette, which I am using today. Moving on to the next shade, to me, it looks like a light terracotta shade. Let me know in the comment section what you think this shade looks more like. I am so glad that I did not give up and that I had an opportunity to go back to the internet to find the names of the palettes. This next shade looks more in the pumpkin family, and I'm going to bring that one right above the crease. In terms of the shadows formula, the shades are very buttery and they go on easily. This next shade is like a mustard shade, and I'm gonna pack this on the inner corner. And then I'll move along and I'll pack this onto the outer corner as well. Another thing about these shadows, there was minimal fallout. Now I'm coming back with a green shimmer, deep green, in the center. And I'm going to slowly work and pack this shade on as well. Gurl Meets Makeup was a Black-owned company. You can still purchase some of their palettes on Poshmark and eBay. After blending out the shades for a gradient effect, I applied some Black Elf eyeliner. Moving on to my complexion, I'm using my Fenty Pro Filter Powder Foundation in shade number 400. For contouring my jawline and my nose, I used the Revolution Beauty Bronzing Powder in shade medium. On my waterline, I used a NYX Black Gel Eyeliner. And under the waterline, I first added some of the pumpkin shade, and then I went back and I added some of the terracotta shade. For my blush, I used my Alamar palette, and the shade is called Toasted. Here are some Tuchunog lashes that I purchased from Temu. This style is a curly fox eye. Onto my lips, I used a lip balm by Wish as I was applying my makeup. Now from Charlotte Tilbury, I'm using her lip liner. This is the Pillow Talk Cheat Lip Liner, and the shade is called Intense. Now from MAC, I have a shade of lipstick called Velvet Teddy. And this is a neutral pink shade. And it's a satin. Here's what that lip combo looks like. As a highlighter, I used the lightest shimmery shade from the Bare palette. And this is what that looks like as I apply it. After completing my look, I think back to how many times I've used this palette, and I believe maybe I can count it on one hand, maybe 3 or 4 times, but I do enjoy this palette. Again, I'm saddened that the company failed as a whole. I believe that they did have a good product, but it just didn't take off. I would grade this palette an 8 out of 10. I think that you can create a variety of beautiful looks with it. I want to wish everyone a very happy Valentine's Day. I want to thank you so very much for watching my video today. Please remember to visit the other ladies' channels. Their links will be in my description box. Bye.